What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the final live show of the year. Pretty surreal that it's already the end of the season, the end of this live show. I feel like it went super fast. I'm pretty excited though because it sounds like we're going to be doing it again next season. So I hope to see a lot of the usual suspects there next season as well. I think what I'm going to be doing, in case you like spending your Tuesday nights with me, which I appreciate you if you do. What I might do is I might premiere the new show every Tuesday at the same time, just so if people like having my soothing voice on in the background on Tuesday at 7:30, they can still listen to me. And a guest, of course. We're gonna have different guests, a lot of fun guests that I'm really excited about, and hopefully more along the way. I'm pretty early on into the process of recording episodes, so it's going to be a lot of work yet, and it's going to keep me very busy in this off season. Before I start reading some of the comments, let's drop this giveaway link. If you're new here, if it's your first time watching, just fill this out one time throughout the episode, and I'm going to be drawing the last 3 of my prizes tonight. We went through over 40 prizes on the season, so it's been a good run. It's been a lot of fun to be able to give back with the help of Nicolay Law to be able to give back some prizes and stuff like that. So I appreciate them immensely, as you guys know if you've been watching, and I'm excited to keep working with them, and I'm excited that we could do this again next football season to hang out because I actually really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure how I was going to enjoy the live capacity of things. Talking to yourself for an hour is not always the easiest thing to do. Thankfully, I can ramble. Like, my name's Matt Ramage. I don't know if he's on here, but if he is, I hope he appreciates that. But I can ramble pretty well, and it helps to have some good interaction in the comments. So thank you guys. Without you, I'd just be talking to myself, and that wouldn't be nearly as fun. I like interactions. I like the questions. I like all that fun stuff. I'm laughing already from Kirby's comment that we'll get to. Ron, good to see you. A lot of familiar faces in here and names that people that have been watching almost all season long or all season long. Ron is definitely one of those. Ron, good to see you as always. Before I move on, Ron, I swear to you, one of these days I am going to have a day off that I can come get lunch with you. I was supposed to have some time off and my son got sick. If you can hear it, my voice, I'm a little hoarse now because of him. So I ended up having to take some time off to stay home with him. So one of these days, Ron, the stars are going to align and we're going to go get lunch. Corey, good to see you. I know Logan's probably out playing video games, some Fortnite or something. I hope he's doing well as well. Chris, good to see you as always. Thanks for hanging out. The Tullies, ready to put a bow on the season. Time for the draft. Man, it's crazy. The draft's, I think I saw 70-ish days away. I don't know that I'm ready, to be honest with you. I'm excited for the draft, but man, the city here is just going to be a cluster. So I'm not excited about that. My house is going to be a zoo. I think a friend of mine that I actually met through my Facebook page is coming to stay with me for like a week all the way from Australia. So that'll be a lot of fun. Shout out to Corey in Australia. Heather, good to see you. Hope all is going well. Jason, and now the long, dark winter after football. Yeah, if I weren't so busy, I feel like it'd feel pretty long, but I'm in this period right now since football just got over that I feel like I'm kind of okay to have a little bit of a break. Maybe that's because I do so much with it outside of just watching the games, but I'm not getting a break away from creating anything. But I think just to have a little bit of a break and not be so stressed every weekend will be good for my health. Keith, good to see you as always. Hope you are doing well as well. Bailey and Corey, good to see you. And Kirby, this is what I was laughing. This is what I was laughing about. Great, I'm on 40 this year. In fairness, Kirby, you missed a couple episodes. Swag Coda didn't put you onto the show until a little bit later on, and then you have a job. If you didn't spend so much time working and you spent more time on this live show, maybe you'd win every once in a while. You think your child needs a roof over their head? Sharon says she's going to miss football. I will as well. Right now, I'm just in the relax mode. Chris, good to see you as always. Good in and out watching as much as I can. Hey, no worries, man. I appreciate you. Hope Tara and Kaylee are doing well. Deborah, good to see you. Thanks for swinging in. Go Pack Go. Alfonso, thanks for swinging in here again. I got to get your prize out to you this week. Same with Corey. I owe a couple prizes too. Raimundo, I owe a prize to. I think that's it. I have to go back and look and validate, but I'll be getting out the rest of those prizes this week. So appreciate everyone's patience on that. Before we start jumping into the Super Bowl, I see Tom asked, did I see green and gold yet? I have not. As I said in another live episode, I think with an 18-month-old, it's a little bit more difficult to get out and do stuff. My family doesn't live around here, and so people to watch our son is a little bit more scarce, and he's been sick and stuff. So we don't want to give it to anyone right now. So we're just I'm hoping to go see it. I've heard some good things. Did anyone see it that's in here watching? Because I'm curious to hear how the movie was. It looks like a good movie. I know my guy Matt is going to be having the director. Let me check. I think he said the director of his show or of the movie on his. Yeah, he's going to be interviewing the guy who created the movie, created and directed the movie. So I don't know if that's a live show on his end, or if he's just going to record it as a podcast and drop it. But I think that'll be really interesting to hear. That'll be a lot of fun. Feel free to drop questions as we're going. It's not going to be a super crazy episode today. There's not a whole lot to talk on. We have the Super Bowl to talk about, which is good. I hope you guys brought your Super Bowl commercials that you liked, because I want to talk about that. I made sure that was like what I was watching the Super Bowl for, was the commercials. And I got to say, kind of disappointed. I had 2 or 3 that I liked. Not that there's a lot that were like, oh, that's an okay commercial. But I have like 2 that I genuinely really enjoyed. So I'm curious. I'm curious what shows or what commercials you liked during the big game. So as we know, the Eagles rocked the Chiefs 40-22. That game was nowhere near as close as that score sounds. I don't know if I've ever seen a Super Bowl. At least it's been a long time. Now the Tampa Bay Chiefs Super Bowl, that was a pretty one-sided Super Bowl as well. Admittedly, I shut that game off because I was still pretty bitter about the Bucs beating us in the NFC Championship game years ago, 2020 season. But I don't know the last time that I've seen a team do a Gatorade bath when there's still like 3.5 minutes left in the game. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, really, that game was so one-sided. Jalen Hurts won the MVP, but I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's always going to go to a quarterback, but there's so many players that maybe made some big plays that could have made a run for it. Cooper DeJean getting his pick 6, huge. First pick 6 on your birthday in the Super Bowl off Patrick Mahomes, and his first touchdown, or first interception, I should say. Not even first pick 6, first interception. That's a big play. Super happy for him. 6 sacks on the day, which is insane. And even more insane is the fact that was with their front 4 and they didn't blitz a single time. That is mind blowing. That makes everyone's life in the secondary so much easier. My friend Ryan, shout out Ryan. I know he's not watching, but he's an Eagles fan, and I worked with him for a long time. And him and I would always talk about, if we were GMs, how would we build a team? And he always said he would do offensive line and defensive line focused, and everything else will fall into place. Now, it helps that they have AJ Brown and they have Saquon Barkley and they have some really good weapons. But that offensive line and defensive line being so dominant makes life so much easier for everyone across the board. Really just a stellar job by the Eagles, by Howie Roseman, the GM for the Eagles, putting together an incredibly talented team that really they have a chance to do a really good job at defending their title next year. So good on them. They put together a team that I don't know if I've ever seen the Packers have a dominant offensive line and defensive line since maybe 96. We've had some really good offensive lines, and we've had some okay defensive lines during the Rodgers years, but never something to the domination level of that. Chiefs just looked out of sync all night long too. Mahomes was just running for his life constantly. The receivers were dropping passes that they normally maybe don't drop. It was just all over the place. Chad Tully and I were texting during the game, and I was joking with him because he was saying that the refs helped the Chiefs get there, but they couldn't help them win. And I was joking. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Angels in the Outfield. It's like a Disney movie from the 90s. If you haven't, the premise of the movie is this kid's in foster home, and he asks his dad when they're going to be able to be a family again. And the dad says, when the Angels win the pennant. Well, the kid prays that the Angels are going to win the pennant, and he goes to all these games. He goes to every game. And while he's watching a game, he sees this angel come in and these angels start helping the Angels players, the baseball players, make big plays. Well, he gives a signal. He builds this relationship with the coach, gives the signal to the coach, and the coach starts believing it because these crazy plays keep happening. Well, not to spoil a 30-year-old movie for you guys, but they get to the pennant. Everything's going good. Everyone's believing the Angels are helping. They're a team of destiny. The Angels are helping. And then at the pennant, the Angels cannot help because they can't interfere with a championship game. So I was joking that maybe the refs are like Patrick Mahomes' Angels from Angels in the Outfield. That was a long story that probably no one enjoyed, but I thought it was pretty funny. I made sure I told my wife that same joke. But I don't know. Hope I didn't ruin a 30-year-old movie for you guys. If it was on your list of movies to watch, sorry for spoiling it. I got to go back through some of these. I'm sorry. I just rambled. I'm curious. Start dropping your favorite commercials. I'd love to see which ones you guys liked. Cooper DeJean. I see a lot of comments about Coop. Seeing the Chiefs finally get punched in the mouth felt good. Yeah, I mean, I love that Gronk was on there, and he's just like, yeah, the Eagles are doing what we did to them in 2020. They're pressuring Mahomes and making him run for his life and throw interceptions. It's that easy. And it's just like, okay. I also thought it was pretty funny how Tom Brady, during his announcement, was talking about the 2007 Super Bowl, the perfect Patriots being upset. And you can still hear the pain in his voice from that loss. So it was pretty funny to like hear his perspective. What has been your worst experience with a Packers player or coach? Let's shelf that for when we do the burning hot questions. I don't know that I'll say the player's name, but I can maybe tell a story. So Keith says Harrison Ford was good in the Jeep one, and the sloths made me laugh. Also didn't mind the Pringles ad. You know what was interesting about the Pringles ad? So the Pringles ad, if you don't know, it's the one with like the mustache, and all the people with mustaches, they're like flying off, and there's like notable people that have some incredible facial hair, like the guy who plays Ron Swanson, and I don't remember who else. But then it was interesting that there's also the commercial, the Little Caesars commercial, where the eyebrows were flying off, and I was wondering, like, do you think like the same marketing department made both of those? Because it's weird that one has mustaches flying off and the other has eyebrows flying off, and they're not the same companies. They're not. I don't know. And it was just odd. The Harrison Ford commercial with the Jeep was pretty good. I really like the line at the end where he's like, basically like, I'm a Jeep person, even though my last name is. I thought that was pretty good. Tom, yeah, you really brought up a good point. You know, despite all the turnovers and the injuries Green Bay had against the Eagles, they really went. They did really well with them. I think the Rams probably gave them the biggest fit in the postseason. But for the injuries that the Packers had and all that they were down, I think the Packers can maybe hang their head high off that one. And he says Green Bay is not far off. I agree. You know, I think you get a few more pieces and you never know what's going to happen. Anyone remember the movie Ladybugs? Random thought. I gotta Google it quick. I feel like I do. I just Googled Ladybugs and it showed me a bunch of. Okay, no, I don't. I don't remember. God, maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to watch that sometime, Kirby. The Budweiser commercial, the Clydesdale. Yeah, I think the Clydesdales commercials are like the classics that people really like. I don't know that I saw the Thunderbolts trailer. I don't know. It's good though. The most hilarious part of the whole ref thing was all the Chiefs players asking the media why they were so obsessed with the narrative, and then listen to the Chiefs players complain about the refs. That is some good irony there. But like cul-de-sac party, Alfonso, I like that one as well. I'm a big Shane Gillis guy, and that one was pretty funny with Post Malone, Peyton Manning. Stella beer commercial with David Beckham, Matt Damon. That one was really solid. Return of the Puppy Monkey Baby. I think that was that DoorDash? Maddie, good to see you. We got to do pizzas again sometime. Yeah, the Super Bowl reminds me of when the Patriots win 16-0 and lost it all in this. Oh yeah. The perfect season for 2007. As far as my favorite commercials, I had two of them. The first one, because I'm a sap now that I'm a parent, there's a Google Pixel ad. Kirby, you're a parent. If you're a sap like me or Chad, you got young kids. If you guys have young kids, go watch this commercial. You'll probably end up crying or tearing up like I was. But there's a Google Pixel ad, and the guy's talking into his Pixel, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's very. It tells a very good story, and the story of it's really good, and it's very heartfelt, and it hits you in the emotions. Definitely had me. I'm like, how are you going to make me tear up during the Super Bowl? I'm supposed to be like bashing the Chiefs, not and stuffing my face with snacks, not tearing up over a Google Pixel. Even though I do have Google Pixels. Kirby says my wife is tearing up as you talk about it. See, she gets it, dude. I am so emotional after having kids. Like stuff like that never would bother me before. Now it just like makes me tear up because I'm such a sap. Let's see. Then the other one was I had to write down the name because I couldn't remember what it was. The Chasmo, the Tostitos. I think it's a pizza roll commercial where the ET thing is going back home and they're all saying bye to this dramatic goodbye to this alien thing. And then he goes to his spaceship and he's saying bye, and the door closes on him and kills him right in front of the kids. I thought it was pretty funny. They had Tim, what's his name from I Think You Should Leave, but they had the actor from, I don't know, I'm spacing on it, but they had the actor from I Think You Should Leave. Very funny commercial. I really like that. I really like that. Kirby, I'm right there with you, being sappy after having kids. It's wild how much that switch just, dude, it is wild how much that. Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. My wife always gives me grief and just calls me a big sap now. But I love my son, damn it. I love my child, even though he doesn't like me. He doesn't like me right now. He definitely doesn't want anything to do with Dad, but he still has to deal with me. We can start answering some questions if you got them. We'll still be There's the form again. If you guys haven't entered the giveaway, if you've already entered, don't enter a second time. But if you haven't entered, feel free to jump in there. We'll be drawing some winners a little bit later. Make sure you're here checking in. Yeah, maybe you can win. The Liquid Death commercial, that's true. I should have remembered that considering I drink Liquid Death. I did think that was really funny, like the song about drinking on the job and just shows all these people in these like hazardous jobs that you're not supposed to be drinking with the don't be scared, it's just water or whatever their slogan is. That one was really good. I wish Liquid Death would send me a free case of water since I drink at every live show, but no luck. I was fooled by Stitch running around the field. I don't know that I saw that one, Maddie. Like Lilo and Stitch. I saw something about Lilo and Stitch, but I don't think I was paying. I think I was making food. Yeah. So if you have some questions, feel free to start dropping those. Let's get into some burning hot questions. I know we got Joe's to come too. So. One last final shout out to Legendaries for sponsoring the show all season long. It was great working with them. I was super thrilled that they sponsored the live show, and I couldn't be more appreciative of that. As always, if you're coming to town for the draft or if you live here, make sure you go check them out. Go hit them up. Go support them. They're great. They're super fun to work with. I love their wings. I love their sauces. I use them way too much, if there is such a thing. But yeah, I don't know. Thanks, Legendaries. You guys were great. As always, I'm not surprised. Let's see here. Sorry, my son getting me sick. Going back here, where is Joe's comment or question? Joe said, "What has been your worst experience with a player or coach?" I'm not going to say the player's name, but there was one player that I had a few interactions with that were like pretty negative. It was a long time ago, and like one, I was like asking for a player's autograph, and this player made fun of me to the player that was signing for me. And then another time, it's just another like not the greatest interaction. I do give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, you're at the stadium, 16 hours all day, not signing. I don't blame you for not signing or anything like that. And even though he's like razzing me a bit about asking for an autograph, like it is what it is. It's probably the worst experience. I don't feel like I've had too many like blatantly like really bad experiences. My friend Tom, my really good friend Tom, he went to training camp as a kid, so in the 90s, and he asked a player for an autograph, and the player told him, "I don't do effing autographs, kid." And he's like a 7-year-old kid. And then this player told my friend to give him $20 and he'll consider signing it or something like that. That's what he said to like my friend and his dad, and his dad's like, nah, like, so that was pretty disappointing. Once again, not saying any names because I feel like I don't want to bash anyone. We all have our bad days. We all have our days where things just aren't going well. And I can't imagine being in their footsteps of being at work for 16 hours a day and coming outside and people just hounding you for autographs, and and when you don't give one, they're really mad. Now the second player that happened to my friend Tom, I think that was a little bit more inexcusable. I'm not going to say his name. I just know he's associated with hot tubs. That's all I'll say. If you know, you know. Corey says, "How do you feel about Josh Jacobs' comments about needing a wide receiver one?" I didn't think he was being disrespectful towards anyone in the locker room. Yeah, Corey, I agree. I don't think it was disrespectful at all. I think professional athletes have an ego. It's what makes them good. And I think you could ask a guy on the practice squad, how he ranks on a depth chart, and he's going to tell you he's the best player on the team. So I think any player who hears that comment is probably going to be like, "Oh, I'm already a true one receiver, or I'm already the best, whatever." So I don't know. I don't think it'll be anything really. Um, I think I don't know necessarily that the Packers need a true one receiver. Trying to think. Trying to think how I feel on it. I think the Packers might need more of a leadership in that receiving room, of a guy who has done it and can teach them. I don't know off the top of our head who the wide receiver coach is anymore, but I would really love to see a team. For the longest time, we had Edgar Bennett as our like running backs coach, receivers coach, and it was really nice to see a coach that had played the game and knew a lot about. He played the game at a pro level, and he knew a lot about running back. He knew a lot about running the routes, catching, all that fun stuff. And I wish the Packers would do maybe more of that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be homegrown talent, but I think there's a lot of really talented coaches or a lot of really talented players who are really good at coaching and developing as well. And I wish that maybe the Packers would tap into that a little bit more. We used to see that kind of natural coaching when you had older receivers and you'd always draft like a young one, and it would kind of be a circle of life that they'd work their way up in the ranks. The older ones would eventually be released, not re-signed or retired, and then that new one would kind of climb the ranks. And it was always a new one replacing the old one, but it always had that group of mentorship. We saw that with Donald Driver, and then Greg Jennings, James Jones, Jordy Nelson, then Cobb, and then Devontae. And we've talked about that a lot this year. And I think the Packers kind of got away from that. I don't know if it was necessarily on purpose. It seemed like maybe guys they were trying to get weren't really landing, and so you couldn't keep that same group of wisdom there. But I think we need something like that almost again. That's where I'd kind of like to see someone like a Devontae come back, who's been in the locker room. He knows the culture. He can really help mentor some of these young guys. Good question, Corey. How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers as a QB coach? I think Rodgers has an incredible amount of wisdom in as a quarterback. I don't know if he'll ever want to get into coaching. He did a lot with Jordan Love in coaching and mentoring him, so I think he could have success if he so chose to do so. Keith said, "Thanks for the question, Alfonso." Keith says, "Any free agents intrigue you?" I think I got to see where everything lands. Right now, we're in that weird period where players could still get re-signed. There's going to be players that get cut. Reports were coming out that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are going to be parting ways, so he'll get cut after June 1st, I believe. I'm assuming Devontae's going to get cut as well. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It's hard without knowing who's actually going to be a free agent to say. In your opinion, who has the best fried cheese curds in the area? Ooh, that's tough. I do not like 1919 Kitchen and Tap that's located in the Lambeau Field at all. I shouldn't say at all. I don't like their food for the most part. The service has always been pretty rocky. It's expensive. It's a tourist location. They don't really have to have high standards because people are going to be there anyway. But they have some really good cheese curds. And then there's a place between us good friends. There's a place called Basil's 2 that's outskirts of Green Bay. I think it's like a 15-minute drive. It is one of my favorite dive bars I go to. The burgers are super cheap. Everything's super cheap on their menu. My wife and son and I went. I got a double bacon cheeseburger. They're kind of like Kroll's or Drift Inn. They're the butter burgers. It was founded by a Kroll's family. I don't know if it's the same one. I've heard conflicting reports. I've heard some people say it's the same family. Others say it's not. So I don't know. It's very similar style. I will say that, but the prices are a lot cheaper. But I got a double bacon cheeseburger. I got an order of uh cheese curds. My wife got, I think, a grilled cheese. She gets grilled cheese everywhere she goes. Order of French fries, and then I think I got we got another side as well. And no, we didn't get another side. Excuse me. We got a single chicken strip for my son, and I think the bill was like $20, $21. So it's super cheap, and their cheese curds are phenomenal. If you're coming to the area, definitely check out Basil's too. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It feels like a very locals only bar, but people are pretty chill there. It's a weird style. You got to kind of order at the bar, and then they assign you a table. It can be a little weird, but it's worth it. Way too early predictions for the off season. As far as for the Packers, I don't know. I feel like anytime I try to gauge what Gutekunst is going to do, I have no idea. Jason says Sterling finally made the Hall of Fame. Well deserved. I couldn't agree with you more there. Which current Packer do you think is on track for a Hall of Fame career? Current Packer. Oh boy. That's tough, man. Maybe offensive lineman's hard. They don't really get as much recognition as they should. Jordan Love's a little bit too early. Edgerrin Cooper is going to be a Hall of Famer, but still too early. I'm going to say maybe Xavier or Josh Jacobs. I feel like running back's got to be really hard to make it in. I mean, all positions are really hard to make it in. But I would say probably maybe Xavier. He's young. He just got an all-pro. All pros really matter. You got to get some some rings as well, some Super Bowls. So I'm curious if you guys have any speculation as to who you think would be potential Hall of Fame bound. I do think David Bakhtiari probably would have gotten in had his injury not completely derailed his career. Heather says, "Do you think Adams will come back?" We'll see if he's a free agent and what happens there. Oh, Tony, good to see you, man. You're always lurking in the shadows. I never know you're here. Good to see you as always. I've seen a couple of reports saying that the Packers are looking at signing Khalil Mack or Asante Samuel. Man, I wouldn't mind Khalil Mack at all. Khalil Mack would be a fantastic signing. It'd kind of be like the Julius Peppers. You know, Julius was on the tail end of his career, but still had a lot of juice. And I think Khalil would provide that as well. Will me finally winning a drawing tonight be bigger news than Green Bay signing a free agent? Dude, speak it into existence, Kirby. I'd hate for you to go into the season or off season a loser, but hey, I will say this, Kirby. If you listen to the podcast, I'm going to be doing giveaways there, or the Tales from the Tundra show that I'm doing. I'm going to be doing giveaways there. So even if you don't win tonight, the chances are still going to be there. The odds are probably going to be a little bit harder because more people will be able to enter. But Chad says, hopefully you register your name as not Kirby, so you have a chance. That's funny. NFL Hall of Famer BJ Raji. You know it's interesting to me is I'll post about BJ Raji every once in a while, and people will be like, "Oh, why isn't he in the Packers Hall of Fame?" And I know fans love BJ Raji, but I think people forget how short his career was in Green Bay and how he had a couple impactful, really impactful games, but really his career was not eventful enough for the Packers Hall of Fame. Great player, but yeah, I think it's easy to forget just how short he was with us in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I mean, he's 34, and how much is he going to want? I don't know. You know, I think Julius was Julius 35 when we signed him, or 36. So guys like that, they just have juice in the tank. They have it left, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If it's nothing egregious, I think I would be okay with it. See, I'm seeing Tyler says he thinks Tucker Kraft get in the Hall of Fame. Still early, but if he keeps doing well, you never know. Tom says Clay Matthews even has an uphill climb for Hall of Fame. Yeah, Clay had a great career, and it's going to be his dad's still trying to get into the Hall of Fame. If we're talking past players not named Aaron Rodgers, Devontae will probably maybe get in one day, I would assume. Maybe if he hopefully gets a ring, that usually helps. I'd like to see Mason Crosby get in, but kickers are really hard to get in. I don't know. It's a tough one. Kirby says, I miss everyone loves the BJ shirt. I wore it to the Metrodome for Green Bay, Minnesota game, and this old man was offended by my shirt. Classic. What year was that, Kirby? Was that what year did you rock that out? That's awesome. There's no chance Kuhn gets into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Maybe the Packers Hall of Fame, but I don't think he'd be a first ballot. I could be wrong. I don't know who's going to be coming up on that. Raimundo says, I heard a report of David Bakhtiari. I hope I spelled that name right. Coaching on the offensive line. I haven't seen that. Maybe he has. He says, I see us going defense as usual on the draft. With that being said, what type of free agent would you like? Yeah, I think free agency's tough right now just because I don't know what's going to be on the table. We're in that weird limbo state where guys could become a free agent, but they could get re-signed. So I don't know. I haven't really dove in too much yet because it's gonna look way different in a bit. Ooh, Bailey, this is a good one. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, the halftime Super Bowl show. I know a lot of people did not like it. I think if you don't like hip hop, you're probably not going to like it. Just like if there's a country musical person singing the halftime show, I'm not going to like it. No matter how good people think it is, I don't like country music, so I'm going to think it's bad no matter what. I liked Kendrick. I like Kendrick as an artist. I listen to a lot of Kendrick Lamar. So I didn't think the Super Bowl halftime show was bad. The playing Not Like Us blew my mind, to be honest with you. I thought there was no chance that was going to be allowed to be played. To be able to take a Super Bowl halftime show and play a diss track at Drake, accusing him of being a pedophile. I think that's pretty wild that the Super Bowl or that the NFL allowed that. I was dying at that. So I was all right with Kendrick's show. I thought it was good. But if I could pick anyone for a Super Bowl halftime show, who would I pick? Man, that is tough. I listen to a lot of hip hop. So if I could pick anyone, I mean, we just saw the West Coast do their thing a few years ago. That was a really good one. I really liked that. So maybe I'll mix it up a little bit. I mainly just listen to hip hop, which makes it tough. I'm trying to think who I'm rocking out on my Spotify. I'm trying to think. Maybe there's like a '90s group that I really like, but I don't know anyone's big enough now to warrant a Super Bowl halftime show. Man, that's really tough. I'll say because I can't think of anyone, and we've had a lot of hip hop lately. I will say Ed Sheeran just for my wife. My wife loves Ed Sheeran. It would make me happy that she was happy about the Super Bowl halftime show. I like Ed Sheeran. She loves Ed Sheeran. So I'll say Ed Sheeran just because there's been so much hip hop lately. Nice 2010s. Jordy went off, had like 150 yards, multiple touchdowns. Sounds like every game. Yeah, coaches are really interesting Tom says Coach Holmgren chance is not looking good after failing to get 80% this year. Only coach who was a finalist. Belichick's a first ballot next year, and even two-time Super Bowl winner Mike Shanahan is still not in. Or can it be much more about timing? So coaches are really tough to get into the Hall of Fame, and the reason for that, from what I understand, is the NFL wants you to have a break where you're retired. You're no longer playing. And that's why they have that year, what is it, 6-year window or whatever, where you have to wait and be retired 6 years before. What I've always heard is the coaches have a hard time doing that or getting into the Hall of Fame because they can go back to coaching at any time. There's not the age restrictions like there is for a player. So they don't want to put a guy in the Hall of Fame and then have him go back to coaching and he's a Hall of Fame coach or coach. So I think that's where it gets really hard. I'm curious if they're going to bring Belichick in, to be honest with you. I know he's obviously deserving of a Hall of Fame, but he's still going to be coaching. So I don't know. Will they let him in? We'll see. Dark horse for a Hall of Fame, Matt LaFleur. He's got to win some rings, like we're just talking about. Coaches are hard. That's for sure. Big B, what's up, man? Good to see you. Shout out to Big B, the realist. Dude, that's, Kirby, that's kind of what I was saying to my wife. Like, I'm tired of the halftime show gripe. We had to sit through the 75-year-old Rolling Stones years back. Kendrick was just fine. I agree. I mean, I think you start showing your age when you don't like the Hall of Fame show or with the Hall of Fame halftime show. And that's just part of life. There's music that's coming out nowadays where I'm just like, I don't like this music. And in another 10 years, 15 years, they're going to be doing the halftime show. And I'm going to be like, it's not my thing. I don't like it. So, I kind of agree with that. That's just part of getting older. You don't understand today's music when you get older. When you're young, you're like, I'm going to be cool, unlike my parents. And I'm going to be hip with and then you don't. You just listen to the same music. I listen to the same music I listened to when I was in high school or younger. I try to venture out a little bit, but I pretty much no. We're going to be drawing the giveaway here soon, so I'll drop that link again. If you haven't entered, do so there. If you've already entered once, please don't do it again. Bailey says, I also dislike country music. Our local fair concerts always bring in a fairly big country artist, but last year we had Nelly. My mind was blown, and I definitely went and enjoyed the concert. Nelly would be a great one to see. It's because you're a 90s kid like me, Bailey. You remember the country grammar. I don't like concerts. I don't go to concerts, but Nelly would be good. Blink 82, 182. That'd be a solid one as well. I think that'd kind of mix it up a little bit. Another Lady Gaga. Get out of here, Katie. Good to see you, by the way. You're creeping in the shadows. Heather said Ed's concert's the best I've seen. I think my wife has seen him like 4 times now. For before we had our son, every time he was like doing a concert in the area, her and her best friend would always go and sit like row 2 or 3 and do all their whatever Ed Sheeran stuff they do. Let's see. Someone says Jelly Roll. I'm not super familiar with Jelly Roll. I think I only know the song he did with, or the Eminem did a song and took part of his chorus. I think that's the only one I know. The Gorillas. Do they have enough hits to do a Super Bowl? I don't know. You mean they can't satisfy the music preference of all 127 music? Yeah, the million viewers. Yeah, that's great, Tom. Yeah, every halftime show, man, you're gonna get people that are just complaining about it, and that's fine. I think that's okay. See, Tony says Metallica. That's it's always interesting because you can kind of see, like, Metallica's solid. It's good. Weird Al Yankovic. Now that's someone we can all agree on. Miley Cyrus, Big B, is that your artist of choice? Is Miley Cyrus? I think they should just say screw all of you and pick some random groups that demographic is like kids like Yo Gabba Gabba. Yeah, they're just gonna get what is his name? Blip, the guy with the glasses and the hat. Blippy? Is that his name? They're just gonna get him to come out and do it. Eminem, I think he just did it with Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, and all them in the West Coast a few years ago. But Nagler agrees. All right, let's draw this giveaway, shall we? We've been rambling. It's been fun. I like interacting with you guys. It's always fun to. I know it's a little bit, since the Packers got eliminated, it's been a little bit more chill and just kind of sitting here, chit chatting, which is always fun too. I feel like this is a good group, and it's always fun hanging out with you. Big B says, wouldn't say artist of choice, but I would enjoy it. Big B, I gotta say, while you're here and while we're talking about music, I was slightly offended when Counting Crows was playing at Lambeau and you insulted Counting Crows. I wasn't mad. I was just disappointed. I know you're a young buck, but dude, if you don't like Long December by Counting Crows, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just kidding, Big B. You could never disappoint me. Blippi featuring Baby Shark, dude. My son loves Baby Shark. All right, let's do this. We got some responses I got to go through, but while I'm doing so, I want to say once again a big thank you to my friends over at Nicolay Law for making these giveaways possible all year long. Like I said, we gave away over 40 items, and I wouldn't be able to do it without Nicolay Law. I can't say that I appreciate them enough just because they are so great. They've been so fun to work with. They really let me as an individual just kind of do what I think is best for my audience, and they've been phenomenal to work with. I can only imagine how good they are to work with if you were running into a situation where you needed their help. So I couldn't recommend them enough. If you do find yourself in a situation where you're injured, be sure to give them a call. Check out Nicolay, just to even just to give them a call, just to see what they could do for you. So shout out to Nicolay Law. Appreciate them immensely. Let's share our screen here. They had a Super Bowl commercial too, by the way. Their Super Bowl commercial. Maybe I'll play that quick. We'll extend this. Let me pull this up, because I know not all of you are in the Midwest. So if it's on YouTube, I'm gonna play it real quick. If you guys can hear it, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. You'll have to let me know if you can hear this, and I gotta share this window. I feel like it's only fair to share this advertisement if you guys have not seen it. I hope you can hear this. We're gonna see. Let's see. You'll have to let me know if you can hear it.
Been injured by your aunt's green bean casserole,
or maybe an overpriced bar tab,
or maybe your best friend stealing your fishing spot.
You're still mad about that?
Told you in confidence.
Cut. Guys, these aren't real injuries.
Why do I feel so hurt?
Get over it.
Let's just go to plan B.
If you've been injured, get Nicolay, the Midwest personal injury law firm, fighting against insurance companies since 2007.
Can you believe you wore shorts to this?
What an ad. I don't know if you guys could hear it. I hope you could. They did have that playing. They had that on the Super Bowl, which was great. It's nice to see Charlie and Miles. I think that's the other guy's name, Miles. Hopefully you could hear it. But let's do this giveaway. We are drawing 3 prizes tonight. I don't know what we got left. We'll see what the envelope has to hold. But good luck, everyone, especially Kirby. Let's see what we got. I'm going to be giving these away or mailing these out tomorrow. So tomorrow or Thursday. Luke, if you are here, I need either number 1, number 36, or number 39, please. All right. And then our second one. Boy, the wheel is just sticking in there. Katie, if you're here, I guess we'll have to see if Luke's here and what he has. Oh, Luke says 36. So, Katie, I need 39 or 1, please. 39 or 1. And the last one for this show. Good luck here. Tiffany. Tiffany is going to get what is left over that Katie does not want. Kirby once again gets skunked. Poor Kirby. But as I said, during the video, the podcast we're going to be doing, we are going to be doing giveaways for that each episode. So I know Kirby's probably, pretty upset. He's probably, I get it, Kirby. I'm not a winner either in anything. So, all right. So Luke, you said 36. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you won here. All right, Luke, you got a. I completely forgot I wrote this because it was at the beginning of the year. It says Brian Balaga, Iowa, 8x10, signed 8x10. So good job. I even put the Iowa. Doubt you can see it because it's so blown out, but nice job there, Luke. Katie, you said number 1 because you are number 1. Katie, you won. I see there's Tiffany. The 1962 championship photo, which is one of my favorite Packer photos. So congratulations there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Tiffany, and I'm not going to say what I think it is, but I'm pretty sure I know what this is just by process of elimination. I just tore the envelope in half. Process of elimination, and I am wrong. So that's why I didn't. You got a James Starks 8x10. So congratulations, you guys. I appreciate everyone immensely for hanging out all year long, whether you've watched one episode or all of them. Really, I can't say how much I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun hanging out every week, getting to know so many of you. I definitely owe you all beers or cheese curds, or maybe beers. Maybe I can afford beers. I don't know. I need Nicolay to up my pay if I'm going to be able to buy everyone a beer here. So. But thank you guys really so much. It wouldn't be the same. I look forward to Tuesday nights of hanging out with you guys and just talking Packers. So it wouldn't be the same without you guys being here. I know we always end on a little bit of a story. So figured why not do one tonight. It's not really much of a story, but I told let's see here, when I met Ron in the atrium, I told him this story. And I think he'll enjoy hearing it again. But so the Rawhide Foundation, they opened a Bart Starr Museum. Rawhide Foundation's about a half hour, maybe an hour outside of Green Bay. I don't really remember off the top of my head. I think maybe it's closer to an hour. But it's this boys' ranch where troubled youth can go, and it helps them kind of maybe get their life in a little bit more of a stable spot and help them these at-risk youth. But now they've opened this beautiful Bart and Cherry Star Museum because Bart was a huge backer of this boys ranch and did a lot for this boys ranch. So they built this huge museum, not huge, this beautiful, this really well done museum. It is really nicely sized, but it's very beautiful. They have so many cool items of Bart Starr's. They have his convertible. He won his Corvette from when he won MVP. They have, it's a museum kind of all about Bart and Cherry Star, their family, how they met, how they fell in love, their kind of life, if you will. And then there's a lot about football there too. Well, on one of the walls, it talks about Bart and his journey to the NFL. And he got drafted by the CFL as well. And they were offering to pay him more money. And it said he didn't go to the CFL because he couldn't envision himself playing in the freezing cold. And I thought that was very hilarious, considering that he is known as orchestrating one of the greatest drives in Packers history in one of the coldest games, maybe even the coldest games in NFL history. So I just thought that was poetic, the fact that he opted out of going to the CFL because he couldn't see himself playing in the cold. So if you get a chance to go check out that museum, I went there. They kind of have weird hours, so it's a boys ranch like I talked about, and there are boys that live on the campus, and it's a huge campus. So the hours for the museum are a little odd. They don't do like later in the afternoon because they want the boys to be able to kind of have freedom on the campus, and they don't want a bunch of visitors there all the time. But they do like a fish fry every once in a while where you can go see the museum and kind of take part in the fish fry. But if you get a chance, go check it out. I think I had to go like during the weekday. So if you're coming to training camp or maybe even like the draft and you got some time during the week, go check it out because it is such a cool museum. When I went there, I was the only one there. It had just opened like 2 days prior, and I was the only one there. I got to talk with the like president of the foundation and hear some funny stories from him about Bart and Cherry, and it was such a cool experience. I can't recommend it. People do it enough. I made a video about it, so I don't know. Look back on my reels or what have you. But yeah, thank you guys once again. It was such a blast hanging out with you for the entire football season, and I look forward to doing it again. Keep an eye out for the new show that I'm working on, Tales from the Tundra. I am going to be having, I think my episode is going to start with Matt Ramage. I think he's going to be the first one, but I'm going to have some former players. There's still a lot of guests that I'm working on, and I'm super excited. So thank you once again. Until next time, until next season. Hope to see a lot of you guys there again, and hope to interact with you throughout the off season. And if I see you at the draft, if you see me out and about, come up and say hi, introduce yourself. So I'd love to see you guys. So thank you guys all again. Yeah, have a good off season, and I'm sure we'll be talking. It feels weird to like end. Usually I say, have a good week, and we'll see you next week. But have a good off season. So appreciate you guys all immensely, and we'll talk to you later.